And we have the top versus bottom battle for you here between Hapoel Jerusalem and Pau-Lacq-Orthez. What a game we've got for you. Jerusalem flying high at the top of the group at the moment. 8-3 record for them. For Pau-Lacq-Orthez, it's a different story. 4 wins, 7 losses for them, and their chances of making the playoffs hang in the balance. Here's the schedule for game day 12 here in Group B. As you can see, Banderma turned over Vechta yesterday, as did Antwerp with Wotvervet. And then this evening we have our game here, as well as the other game between Burgos and Ike. Fans are starting to pack into the arena, and they've certainly been well supported this season. The home team, Jerusalem, and they haven't disappointed. Their fans have been treated to some wonderful basketball, and they're hoping to see qualification here this evening. A win for them, as you can see, top of the group. A win for them would secure them that top 4 spot and would see them through to the playoffs. A big achievement. The visitors, though, it's a big, big ask. They know that they have to come in and put a big performance in here this evening. Really asking an awful lot from them to make it through to the playoffs. Now, here is the roster for Pau-Lacq-Orthez. Plenty of talent in there, relatively experienced roster as well. Plenty of guys that have been there, done that, bought the t-shirt. They'll be hoping to lean on some of that experience here this evening in what can be a cauldron of European basketball here in Jerusalem. And here's the home team roster. New addition, number 0, top of the list, Shelvin Mack. Recently signed for the team, made the move across from Milano. They'll be expecting him to fit straight in and be a big contributor straight away. High hopes for what he can achieve this season. Coming in a real critical moment as well for Jerusalem. As we enter the final stages of the warm-up, both these teams now really getting their minds locked in on the game. And for our visitors, Pau, who won the reverse of this fixture, 81-75 back in France. That was behind 22 points from Justin Dentman. That was his Basketball Champions League debut, believe it or not. And he's gone on to lead them in 5 of their 7 games since he arrived in France. Really is the kind of figurehead, the spearhead of their offensive output. We're nearly there. Trying to relax, get his mind ready to go. The big man certainly is going to play his part this evening as well. You can see different players have their different rituals on how they get locked in on the game. They're just trying to focus in now, but it is a big task ahead of them. This is not an easy place to come and win games. You're put on a huge amount of pressure from the start. The fans will get on your back at every opportunity that they can.
Number 1, Johan Schupas. Number 3, Tyrus McGee. Number 7, Ekene Bekri. Number 12, Peter Corneli. 22, Sheikh Mboche. 25, Ronald Moore.
We see the away team being introduced to the crowd here.
55, Justin Dentman. 66,
Denman, big player for them, leading them in scoring. 23 points per game. Also, you need to keep your eyes out on Usman Drain. He's one of their top performers as well, averaging 10 boards per game. Now for the home team, you'll hear the noise levels increase in the arena as the team are introduced to the crowd. Certainly know how to whip the crowd up. Here's the debutant, Shelvin Mack, coming onto the floor. Wonderful experience for him to play in Jerusalem.
Number 14,
Fildeen there, another important player, second in scoring for Jerusalem, 16.5 points per game. And they're expecting more for him, and the important thing is going to be how do they fit Mack into their rotations, how do they fit them into their offensive structure, because it's not going to be straightforward for them. I'm sure they will. And it's scary to think if he can combine now with this man here, John Holland. He's averaging 21 points per game. A 1-2 punch of Mack and Holland could be one of the best in the Basketball Champions League. Just can they get them pointing in the right direction? And I'm sure Coach Kartash has been working every hour that he can on the floor and off the floor to try and get this structure in place to make the most out of the talent that he now has at his disposal. And that is a huge amount of talent as we see the coaches exchange gifts. The players will meet on mid-court for the handshake as they get into their final preparations, and the noise in the arena just gets louder and louder. It's a wonderful environment for European basketball. It's a pleasure to commentate on games here. Here are your officials for this evening: Luis Castillo, Vladimir Jetovic and Elias Cunels from Spain, Serbia and Cyprus, respectively. They'll be patrolling the hardwood, make sure everything's above board, and we should be in for another wonderful night of European basketball. Sure, the home team are big favourites to come away with the win. One thing that we've learned about it is that you don't always get what you expect in the Basketball Champions League. Here's a starting five for Pau-Lacq-Orthez: McGee, Cavalier, Ibekwe, Corneli and Denman. Coach Villa there, getting his final scratchings onto his playboard. Final details down for his team. What can they do to dent the ascendancy here of Jerusalem? Had a wonderful season in the Basketball Champions League, picked up some big wins along the way. Just down to them to finish it off now. Here's your starting five. Shelvin Mack straight into the starting five along Fildeen, Reimer, Holland and Thomas. That is one impressive starting five. Explosive to say the least. Real scoring threats throughout. It's going to be down to Pau-Lacq-Orthez to really create some issues on the road. Coach Kartash now in his huddle, getting the final instructions across to his team, and he knows how important a good start here is at home. If he can get his fans on side, that's half the job done. As they really are a sixth man, both domestically and in European competition. And on the flip of that, Coach Villa will know that he wants to slow things down. He wants to take the crowd out of the game. He can't afford a slow start. He knows they need to get out of the blocks, they need to get scoring early, and they need to try and limit the damage that Jerusalem do.
After we play two turns, so on two turns, Peter set the screen on the sweep-on line, okay? And you attack, okay? Hey, let's go, guys.
Well, no doubt how motivated those players are to get going. You can see they're focused and they're pumped. Just a few moments now from the opening tip here in Israel. And just a quick reminder, the easiest way, the best way to stay in touch with everything to do with the Basketball Champions League is the Basketball Champions League app. It's available on iOS and Android, completely free to download, so get your phones out now. Let's get that downloaded. It'll give you all the latest news and stats and figures and tons of highlight clips, and really will keep you up to date with everything that's going on in the tournament. It's an indispensable guide, one that I know provides a huge amount of information. Some drums start ringing around the arena. We're set for another wonderful night of European basketball. handshakes among players and coaches as we get ready to go. Israel versus France. Hapoel Jerusalem versus Pau-Lacq-Orthez. The crowd on their feet. The players are ready to go. And off we go. The tip is scrapped away, but ultimately won by Mack. His first touch of the ball in the Basketball Champions League. Shelvin Mack. We're hoping it won't be his last. Exciting things expected. Dean comes up short, and that's a good box out by Ebekwe. Going to be Pau-Lacq-Orthez ball on the baseline, or is it? No, I think it's going to be a Jerusalem ball actually. Saying there was a touch. Dean's shot was actually blocked there. Mack now puts the ball into Breimer. The shake, uses body. Has to come back out to Breimer though. Back to Mack. Little shake, hesitation, teardrop. Right hand is good. Way to introduce yourself to the Basketball Champions League, Shelvin Mack. An easy score for Breimer. And we're already in a nice rhythm to this game. Just 1 minute gone and you feel both teams are nice and loose and ready to entertain. Good hustle there by Thomas. Knocking it off the iron, saving the 2 points, runs the other way and hands it off. Both ends of the floor to Sean Thomas, making an impact, and Suleiman Breimer takes the easy bucket thanks to the pass from Thomas. McGee now, Pau-Lacq-Orthez comes to a stop and drains the free throw line jumper. I have a feeling this game's going to quickly descend into a shootout. As Mack goes to the line, goes to the basket and fails to connect. Very high-paced game so far. Neither team looking to use much of the shot clock. Making their first option on most of the offenses they've had so far. Nice pass inside, and I think Mack's going to get called for the foul. As Ebekwe worked well to seal him out. They got the switch they wanted. There's the jumper from McGee. And there's the score at the other end as well. Neither team really struggle offensively. Dentman now for three. He's off track with that shot though. Pau-Lacq-Orthez know that Dentman has to be in fine form this evening if they've got a chance of coming away with the win. Breimer looking to back his way inside, comes back out to Holland. Holland's open for the three. Oh, and he drains the three. Jerusalem out to an early 4-point lead. And this is what we were talking about before the game. They can't afford Pau-Lacq-Orthez to let the lead extend. Foul's going to be called. That one going to be chalked up to Shaw Thomas. And there's the triple from Holland. You can't leave him open. You can't give him the space to get the shot away. Nice inbound pass though. Is easily converted by Leo Cavalier. Another easy scoring at the moment. Jerusalem are finding it exceptionally easy to score close to the basket. Pau-Lacq-Orthez need to lock that down. That said, Corneli now finds Cavalier, goes inside, back to Corneli, intercepted by Shelvin Mack. Good help down from the guard. Goes to the corner, offensive foul's going to get called on Mack, which is double frustration for Jerusalem. James Dean had just drained the three from the corner. And the incessant drums continue to ring around the arena as they have done all season long for Jerusalem. A good stand in the end by Tyrus McGee. Denton now into the low post. Bekwe goes to work but is off target, and the rebound's pulled down by Holland for Jerusalem. Thomas now almost travels but gets it stripped away instead. Denton, little shake, little fake, and didn't really know what he was doing with the ball. You saw no confidence in him there as he progressed the ball up over the half. Didn't really know where he was going to go, what his options were offensively, and he turns it over. As Shelby Mack's first experience of the Basketball Champions League is a little under 4 minutes. Amir Black comes in to replace him. Thomas now to Holland. Holland looking for the space for the three again. He's got the door closed on him. He takes the elbow jumper instead, though, and you have that feeling from John Holland that he's going to start warming up. And he wants to stamp his authority on the game early. 2 from 2 from the field, 5 points so far for him. Denton wide open for three, though. You can't afford to do that. Denton drops the three. The fingers to the floor, reduces Jerusalem's lead to just 3. Black now turns the corner. Nothing open for him. Puts the lob up, though. Always going to be difficult for Sean Thomas to do anything with it that low. Fighting his way back out is tough, but there's the triple from Denton. Had enough time just to take a set yourself dribble as well. A scrimmage in the gym, that one. Jerusalem's defense certainly needs to step up from that. Primer misses. Holland bats the ball back though. Black will reset. Take his time. No, he won't. He'll try and feed it inside straight away. And that's great hustle by Thomas. Real heads-up play as he's falling out of bounds. Diawara gets in the way, and Thomas pushes it off his legs. And it's stolen away. Denton now slows it down. Pau-Lacq-Orthez's transition offense isn't the best. A little bit slow advancing, leaving Denton pretty much take the team on his back. Fortunate in that instance where he draws the foul. Earns himself a trip to the line for 2 shots. Unbelievable foul count so far. Jerusalem 4 fouls, and Pau-Lacq-Orthez yet to commit 1. As we're going to see Coburn Brown come into the game. Heading to the bench is Phil Dean. And Brimer. Shaz has come in as well for Jerusalem. Black with a little hesitation, skips his way inside. Oh, it's a good pass, but Kuchas can't hold on to it. Black's gonna lose the ball to Bekwe there. Bekwe now, and again, you see Pau-Lacq-Orthez, no real direction on the offensive end. They're not too sure what structure, what set they're playing. Denton for 3. Rattles out with that attempt, and this is going to be a long night for Pau-Lacq-Orthez unless they get some direction on the offensive end. At the moment, it seems to be relying heavily on some individual talent. Ball to the corner is good for John Holland. That's his 2nd triple of the evening. He's up to 8 points. He scored half of Jerusalem's points so far in this game, and he's perfect from the field. Instead, he looked like he was ready to go, ready to take over. Thomas is going to get called for the foul. It looked like he just pulled the chair away a little bit. Then he reached in and caught the arm. Will send Thomas to the bench with his second foul. Let's have a look. Connelly there trying to push down on him, and there's that wonderful vision, the pass to the corner. And Holland obliges by nailing the three. Connelly, though, at the line for Pau-Lacq-Orthez. This is with his first attempt. It's his second. That's his first point of the game. Been on the floor over 6 minutes. Pau-Lacq now hands it off. It comes back. Shot's too long though. And Hapoel pulls in the rebound and hands it off to Dentman. And just gallops almost into his shot. Hapoel too heavy. And again, Pau-Lacq-Orthez, well, they lack offensive direction at the moment. Black with a hesitation, and that draws Schupaz in. Johan Schupaz draws, gets the first foul chalked up against his name, and the first team foul of the game for Pau-Lacq-Orthez. Bodji comes in as Connelly goes to the bench. Brown now at the top. Hands it off to Black. Black looking to feed the big man in the post, and he goes to work. Old school from Mindaugas. Kuchas. Dentman. Oh, nice. Good control of his body. Uses his upper body strength to keep the defense at bay. Gets the two, and that's what Dentman brings you. In an open, flowing game, he has the ability just to create for himself, which at times is great, because when things are stagnant like they are at the moment, he can create and keep the scoreboard rolling over. Maybe he doesn't bring you the structure and the command that you'd expect from other point guards in the Basketball Champions League, but the foul going to be called on number 49. Chaz called for the foul. Just a split second too late. Needed to establish himself a little bit earlier. Seal out on the defensive end as Bodji will go to the line for 2 shots. Lière's back into the game for the French team as well. Breimer comes into the game for John Holland. He has 8 points to his name already. Impressive start to the game. Just under 2.5 minutes to play in this first quarter, and goodness me, this first quarter has absolutely flown by. It really has. Plenty of entertainment here on show this evening. Connects with both, and there is first points of the game. Brings Jerusalem's lead down to just 1 point. And that's a concern, because the flow of the game feels like Jerusalem have had more control, but the scoreline doesn't suggest that that's the case. Brown now feed Chopaz inside, and once again the big man just short of the mark. Dentman, oh, he looks from way, way downtown. Changes his mind, floats inside. Schupaz, it looked like the ball slipped out of his hands rather than it being an intentional pass to Dentman. Nothing to think about for Coach Villa on the Pau-Lacq-Orthez bench. They'll be disappointed with their campaign so far. He'll want to keep picking up wins though. Something that doesn't go away when you compete at the levels that he has. Reimer's no good, but he's fouled. Cavalier, I think, is going to get whistled for that one. That's going to send Suleiman Brahima to the line for 2 shots. Denton will take a break as one more comes into the action. Moore's first action of the evening. Brahima connects with the first of his 2. And the second is good to go. Jerusalem's lead back up to 3 points. Brahima now 6 points, 2 assists. He's had a good start to the game alongside Holland, the key standout players for the home team. Lavier now. Oh, and that would have been a huge dunk. Brahima fouls. And Bodji on his way up to the iron. Really would have been a rim wrecker if he converted that one, but you can see by Brahima's defense, he was not in the mood to be on the wrong end of a poster this evening. Now number 2 on Brahima, and some foul trouble early on here for Jerusalem, and it won't hurt them at this stage of the game, but you do wonder at what stage will it come back to haunt them. One from 2 from the line from Bodji. Into the game comes Levy. Levy. It's his first touch. Blatt advances it up over the half, being guarded by Moore. Bildine now feeds it inside to Brown. Brown skips the baseline, but the pass is too high for Blatt, and it's stolen away. Moore now hands it off, and eventually Hapoel is able to get to the basket and scoop up the offensive rebound and put that one in, and that ties the game. 50 seconds left in the first quarter. What a chess match we've had so far. The pass is a bit low from Blatt. It's going to fall out of bounds. 42.4 seconds left in the first period. I think Pau-Lacq-Orthez will take possession on the sideline. Pretty free-flowing first 10 minutes of action. Both teams playing well. Jerusalem won't be happy with 6 turnovers in a little over 9 minutes of play. They know it's tough to win games when you don't protect the ball, when you give it up that precious possession that easily. Moore now trying to shake his way inside, kicks it to the corner. The jumper is way short. Things will be slowed down by Brown now. About 6-second differential between the shot clock and the game clock, and smart move by Pau-Lacq-Orthez. Obviously going to 2 for 1 into the corner. Levy wide open, but no joy. What can McGee do with the ball? He's going to pull the trigger on a 3, and he comes up short to finish the first quarter. Plenty of entertainment, plenty of noise here. End of 10, Jerusalem 20, Pau-Lacq-Orthez 20. There are your shooting stats from the first quarter. As you can see, both teams profiting from the inside, struggling from the outside. But Pau-Lacq-Orthez will be happy that they've had 8 free throws in the first 10 minutes. That shows the aggressive nature of their offense is paying dividends. Particularly that man there, Denton. He has done plenty to take the plaudits from this first 10 minutes. But Jerusalem themselves have got 2 players in Brahima and Holland that are ready to rock and roll. getting on the scoreboard with ease in that first quarter. Both of those guys. You want to put money against them having 20-point games, either of them. Remember, big game for Jerusalem here this evening. You know, we're at the business end of the regular season in the Basketball Champions League, and for Jerusalem, a win. That's what they need. That will secure them a place in the playoffs. That will secure them a top 4 finish in this group. As for Pau-Lacq-Orthez, at the moment, they're hanging on by a shoestring. It really is a small chance that they'll make it through to the playoffs. You see Dentman with the triple. That was countered by Holland's triple from Jerusalem. Wonderful pass there from Coven Brown. A huge amount of the points have been scored close to the basket, primarily by the backcourt players for both teams. They're the ones doing the damage at the moment. Second quarter underway here in Jerusalem. We're all tied, 20 points apiece between Hapoel, Jerusalem, Pau-Lacq-Orthez. 30 minutes still to play in this key Basketball Champions League game. Ball is passed outside, and what a way to start the second quarter. Diawara nails the triple. Coven Brown with the eye of the needle pass, and that is finished with authority. Mindaugas Kuchas. Wonderful play. And once again, Coven Brown just shows the vision he has. Look at that bounce pass. Millimeter perfect to find his big man on the roll, who obliges with the dunk. He'll head to the line. Can he complete the and one? Yes, he can. Pau-Lacq-Orthez might have hit the triple. Jerusalem then come back and hit the three-point play. Not a sheet of paper between the two at the moment. McGee now moves the ball across to Ibekwe. Ibekwe with an unorthodox drive at the basket, and he's left them short-handed defensively. Holland now feeds it inside, and there's another easy score. This time, Levy with the little off-the-glass lay-in. Looking to shake, create some space. Got the speed over Holland. Oh, what a spin move. No joy, but the rebound is dragged down by Mbodji. He'll go to the line for another 2 shots. And Mbodji is doing a lot of the dirty work here early on for Pau-Lacq-Orthez. He's establishing himself well. Look at him hunt that rebound down, almost stalking the ball as it comes off the iron. Here's the score at the other end. And a quick pass inside to Nimrod Levy for the 2 for Jerusalem. Bodji's no good with his first attempt from the free throw line. Connects with his second though. Villa won't be too upset with what he's seen. His team are being very competitive offensively. Maybe they need a little bit more structure, but they've certainly shown that they've got what it takes to compete here this evening. Holland for 3. Oh, not another triple. Yes, it is. John Holland drains the corner 3. Up to 11 points, and Bodji mid-range 2. You could see he wasn't confident when he took the shot, but he got it to rattle home. And the pace at which these two teams are playing this game is electric at the moment. Real crowd-pleasing pace that they're playing at. Dean has it off to Levy. There's the pass to the corner. And you just see his focus, his vision. He's locked in. Absolutely locked in this evening. 4 from 4 from the field. 2 rebounds, an assist, and 11 points for John Holland. Played under 10 minutes of the game as well. Levy now brings it back out, hands it away to Jacob Brown. Another unbelievable pass. Holland not with the space to shoot the 3, but he'll shake and put the 3 up. The defense is better that time from Pau-Lacq-Orthez, though, and an unsportsmanlike foul is going to be called, I think, on Ebekwe. It's a silly mistake if it is from Kenny Ebekwe. It is just him throwing his arms away when he's had the ball knocked away, giving up possession after that unsportsmanlike foul. He'd done the hard part, he'd won the rebound. But he's now instead, he's sent Jacob Brown to the line. And Brown hits the free throw. Back to the line for his second as well. And it's moments of madness like that from Ebekwe that can cost you games. They really can. You know, this could ultimately turn out to be maybe a 5-point swing in the game from one silly mistake, one momentarily bit of red mist. Jerusalem will take possession on the half. And senior Thomas. Senior looking for the pass. Oh, and there's the pass for the big flush. To Sean Thomas with authority. And how impressive is Jacob Brown's vision. Look at the pass, look at the finish. That is a picture of perfection from Jerusalem. That's how to play offense. Wonderful, wonderful team offense. Timeout called by Pau-Lacq-Orthez. Let's jump into Coach Villa's timeout.
Okay, and we defend like this, we drop, okay? So from here, we know they go here. So there's a low pass, okay, with Thomas. Now on the side, blue, both sides, with the 4 and with the 5. Okay, 4 and 5, blue. Well, be ready, okay, to catch the drive, okay? To stop the drive, all right? And go everywhere, protect the pin. Maybe, if the progress like this, you have to come, you have to run on the corner, no switch, okay? Hey, with Holland number 33, on the low post 54, okay, 54. And now we play, 4 up, okay, for share. Let's go. Hey, 1, 2, 3.
Smart timeout by Coach Villa, just working on some of the details, identifying the threats, and there are a huge number of threats from Jerusalem. There really are. You've got Holland, who's shooting the lights out. Jacob Brown, who seems to have some kind of next-level Jedi vision on the floor. Knows exactly where his players are, where they're going to go to, and he's finding them with every pass that he makes. Jerusalem now out to a 6-point lead, just over 7.5 minutes to play here in the second quarter. And the crowd are bouncing here in the arena. Oh, and the easy pass. The defense fell apart and Holland capitalized fully. Pau-Lacq-Orthez are certainly on the back foot at the moment, not quite on the ropes, but they are on the back foot. McGee now feeds it inside to Mbodji. Moore trying to find some space. Ebekwe, no good, but the foul's going to be called on Levy. And once again, Mbodji is doing a wonderful job. There's a star of the player in this game so far for Pau-Lacq-Orthez. It's Mbodji. There's a replay of the easy score for Holland. He won't score another basket that easy in the Basketball Champions League this season. And as I was saying, Mbodji is doing a wonderful, wonderful job for Pau-Lacq-Orthez. He really is. That grit and grime kind of grind out style that he has, doing all the garbage work. Without him, they wouldn't be in it. Dentman for three, and he's in the game. He certainly plays with a wonderful flair. Justin Dentman, 13 points for him. Coburn, Brown can't get the shot. Probably his first real mistake of the game, that was a give-me jumper. Beckway looking to feed the post, but it's locked out. McGee now. Needs Mbodji, and Mbodji spins and finishes. The foul's going to be called on to Sean Thomas, and Mbodji is starting to become unguardable. Signals for it, and it's that quick spin move. Look at the quick feet. Sean Thomas is still trying to establish contact to play post defense, and Mbodji's already left. He's already a distant memory at that stage. Thomas is going to have to come out of the game. That's his third foul, and his foul trouble has certainly limited him. Puchas comes in. Mbodji misses the free throw, and this could be a problem he has. He's not clinical from the free throw line, and when you're a big man that's as difficult to guard as he is, you need to back your game up with a high free throw percentage, and he's not at the moment. That said, Pau-Lacq-Orthez only trail by 3, under 6.5 minutes to play in the second quarter. Little crossover from Shelvin Mack. Brown now, feeds it off to Holland. Holland misses, and almost a bit too close for him if he'd been another meter away. Oh, and there's that man again, and Mbodji. He's out at the races, and he is a nightmare now for Coach Kartash to deal with. He put Sean Thomas on him, and Mbodji drew the foul. He put Mindaugas Kupsas on him, and what does he do? He gets out and runs. He knows the big man won't stay with him. Gets himself an easy 2. Timeout called by Coach Kartash. Let's listen to this Jerusalem huddle. Here's a replay of the damage that Mbodji's doing at the moment. There, back to the basket, old school drop step, or in transition, running hard. Just a man that will outwork you in every which way that he can. Sheck Mbodji. Jerusalem down to just a 1-point lead now. 6 minutes, 4 seconds left in the second quarter. Blatt in point guard position for Jerusalem. He hands it off to Levy now. To Holland. Back to Blatt. Blatt trying to find the lane. The lane was there, but he didn't take it. Steps back for the 3 instead and comes up short. Amir Blatt struggling at the moment in this evening's game. Into the corner, McGee for 3. Nails the 3, and Pau-Lacq-Orthez have the lead. Mack to Blatt for 3. No joy. Rebound by Mbodji. Second rebound of the game for him, along with his 10 points. Stolen away, though. Good vision by Shelvin Mack. Mack using every ounce of experience that he has. Gets himself what is a lot of space very close to the basket to tie the game up at 36 apiece. Under 5 minutes to play in the second quarter now. Denton fading to the right, nails the jump, and he's such an unorthodox player offensively. So difficult to guard when someone doesn't play the game the way you've been trained, because you don't quite know how to defend against it. Shelvin Mack trying to get to the basket. I think Moore is going to get whistled for the foul on him this time. Or is it going to be Denton? Let's have a look again, and you see how unorthodox this is. You know, any coach in the world, if you're a young player, will tell you not to take that shot. You're fading sideways against the basket, and that's so difficult to judge your shot. But if you can master it, it becomes near undefendable. As you saw there, Jerusalem really didn't have an answer for what Denton put up. They have plenty of offensive firepower themselves, so I'm sure they're not going to be worried as we see Shelvin Mack head to the line for 2 free throws. You can read the mind of Coach Kartash there. I wouldn't exactly say he's happy at the moment with how his team are playing. Matt converts a second and ties the game up. I'm sure at this stage of the game he was hoping, you're not going to have the game dead and buried, but he was hoping for a double-digit lead. Denton now, nice passing. McGee for 3. A little short with that effort. Jerusalem will accelerate it back the other way. Pass from Blatt inside. Bonelli's going to get called for the foul. It's going to be a holding foul, I think. Not sure who he was holding in the huddle in the middle. Let's have a look. Yeah, it's Breimer. Played to Breimer, though. He did make all the effort to make the contact in that situation. Earned himself a trip to the line for 2 free throws. One rebound, 2 assists, and now 7 points for Breimer. And on the floor, just under 7 minutes so far. So not bad contribution from him either. And this is the thing you have with Jerusalem. Tons of talent throughout their roster. And on any given night, you don't know which player is going to step up and take the mantle on. Denton almost loses his own shoes there, he's so quick. Ibekwe now, his pass to Corneli is no good, and Jerusalem will break out in transition. Good defense by Corneli at the other end though, just stood his ground. McGee behind the back, slides inside, what a play! Tyus McGee! Has it been waved away? Let's have a look. There's the crossover behind the back to lose Mack. Is it the kick-out foot that they're calling an offensive foul on? I think it is. It's extending his foot. Going to be called for an offensive foul. It looks great, though, to be fair. Both teams won't be happy with how little they protected their possession. Breimer, soft right hand, and you could feel that he wanted to throw it down, but he knew the delicate side of the game was needed. Blatt going to get called for the foul. Almost half of Jerusalem's points have come inside the paint. They certainly look to exploit maybe a slight size advantage or strength advantage at least that they have. There's the pass inside to Breimer. You can see that he wanted to throw it down, but knew a little bit more of a cultured right hand was needed. Denton back to Corneli. Oh, he blasts through the paint and throws it down. Peter Corneli exploiting the lane to its fullest. Little phase of handoffs from Jerusalem, trying to create some space, but the defense from Pau-Lacq-Orthez is enough. High arcing from Blatt. It's too high arcing almost. Comes back to Denton, catch and shoot 3. He's fouled by Blatt. Blatt's nightmare game continues. Going Going to send Dentman to the line for 3 free throws. Pau-Lacq-Orthez, the chance to take the lead again. Dentman is such a difficult player to guard. This is his first, though. It's the second. Takes himself up to 16 points personal, along with 2 assists. James Fielding waits to come into the game. It's the second as well, so he's up to 17 points. The game's tied at 42 apiece. As we see Jacob and Brown come into the action, as well as Fielding for Jerusalem. And Blatt has struggled this evening. He'll head to the bench. Mack now hands it off to Fielding, to Breimer. Good quick ball movement, but it's knocked out of bounds by Dentman. Dentman read that one well. He knew that Mack was going to try and zip the ball as quick as he could to the corner. There's the pass, and here's the finish by Corneli. Just saw the lane open up in front of him. It was like a kid in a sweet shop. Coven Brown now kicks it out to Breimer. It's no good. Oh, wonderful hustle from John Holland. Gets it back in bounds. Chalk those 2 points up to Holland, because he did all the work for that basket. Moore throws the lob. Ebekwe now. Stolen away. Jacob Brown. Jerusalem starting to take some momentum. Under 2 minutes left in the second quarter. Fielding, no good with the corner 3. Moore comes back the other way. Corneli floats inside, but he's going to have to come out, I think. He does, gets the ball back. No, he's got the mismatch he wants against Brown, but Brown pulls the chair on him. Smart move by Jacob Brown. He knows he's not going to be able to keep Peter Corneli from dominating him in the paint, so he takes the first contact, steps away. Corneli not able to hold on to his own frame, but look at this hustle work here by Holland. Gets it back inside to Fielding. Fielding will get the 2 points on the box score, but for me, that's Holland's basket all the way through. Under 90 seconds left now in the second quarter. Jerusalem up by 2 in a wonderful game. A real treasure of a European game here this evening. Holland fakes a 3. It's going to be a travel, though. You see players do it. They get the fake, and it's a wonderful fake. The defender slides past them, and they're too excited to get to the basket because the lane's opened up. They don't get that dribble going quick enough. They lift the pivot foot. It's a straightforward call for the officials. Corneli will head to the bench. Certainly done a job, that's for sure. Front court kind of 1-2 punch of him and Bodji. Of course, Jerusalem problems in this first half. Moore now. Back to Dentman. Going up against Fielding. Into the corner. The jumper is no good. And Jerusalem will come back the other way. Coben Brown slowing things down, waiting for the screen to come up. Passes it across instead, and look at the moves from Shelvin Mack. Bringing out all the tricks here on his debut. Dentman for 3! And he keeps lighting things up for Pau-Lacq-Orthez. Unbelievable first half for Dentman. He's up to 20 points now. Wonderful, wonderful offensive display from him. And you have to say he's the reason they're still in the game. Because when their offense has become stagnant, he's been able to create the spark to get things going again. Brown, corner, Mack, drains the 3! 5 seconds left. And Ebekwe has it. No, he doesn't have it knocked out of his hands. He just drops it out of bounds. 1.1 second left in the second quarter. Jerusalem will have possession, but they're going to take the opportunity, I think, to call a timeout. I'm not sure they're going to be able to draw much up for 1.1 second, but Coach Kartash has got the timeout. It's going to expire in the halftime break. So I suppose may as well use it, see if you can do anything with it. Let's jump into this timeout and listen to what Coach Kartash has to say.
Jamie is taking the ball. Shelvin and James. Holmes and James. All right, just stay. You and stay. There you are in. And so. So you screen Tay, right here. Tay, you take your man here. Okay? Even here. Try to ball switching defense. JB plays the ball right here. Don't worry. Yeah, you can stay with about 5 seconds.
Plenty of smart plays, heads-up plays in the first half from Jerusalem, and plenty of huge highlight plays from Denton as well, as he points the 3 fingers to the sky after hitting yet another triple. 20 points in just 9 attempts in just over 16 minutes of action for Denton. Holland himself not had a bad game either. He's on the bench though, getting a bit of an extra rest. 1.1 second ago. What can they do? Throw it away. Shot's not going to be put away in time from Ibekwe. So at the end of 2 quarters here, we've had a wonderful game. 20 minutes down. The home team lead this, but only just. Jerusalem 49, Pau-Lacq-Orthez 45. Wonderful example of basketball Champions League action. The first 20 minutes have been absolutely exhilarating. So much to talk about. Jerusalem dominating from the inside. Pau-Lacq-Orthez primarily in the hands of Denton, trying to dominate from the outside. That's the battle we're seeing at the moment. Pretty even on the boards. Jerusalem doing a great job on their team offense. 15 assists for their 49 points. But just generally a wonderful first 20 minutes of action here in Jerusalem. Let's just hope the second 20 minutes are just as good. Your top scorers, Holland with 13, Mack with 11, Breimer with 10 for Jerusalem, Denton 20, and Bodji 10, and McGee with 5 for Pau-Lacq-Orthez. But what an exciting first half of basketball we have had. Absolutely up and down, high-scoring affair. There wasn't anything to split them in the early stakes. The first quarter ended 20 points apiece before the acceleration on the offensive end from both teams in the second quarter. Jerusalem with the slight better of things, primarily off the vision of Jacob Brown, but they won the second quarter 29-25. That's why they have a 4-point lead at the halftime break. I'm sure Coach Kartash isn't overly happy. I'm sure he'll have wanted at least a double-digit lead at the halftime break. He doesn't have that, but he does have a lead, and that is against this man here, Denton. He's had a phenomenal game. He's really stepped up when his team has needed him. He really is just a magician sometimes on the ball. Other players have stepped into the role, and Bodji there, he's stepped up as well. Back to the basket, out in transition. Making himself a nuisance as well. And there have been other players in Pau-Lacq-Orthez that have really tried to put some pressure on Hapoel Jerusalem. But at the end of the first half, Jerusalem lead by 4 points. So the scoring is being led by John Holland. He's got 13 points, 3 rebounds and 2 assists to his name. Shelvin Mack on his debut, he'll be happy. 11 points, 4 from 5 from the field, and 2 steals as well. And Suleiman Breimer has 10 points and 2 assists as well. They're the players in double digits for Jerusalem. For Pau-Lacq-Orthez, they've only got 2 players in double digits. Justin Denton, by far and away their biggest offensive threat, 20 points, 6 from 9 from the field, along with 2 assists and a block as well. Sheikh and Bodji 10 points to his name, 2 rebounds and a steal. Remember, for him, he's played less than 9 minutes, so wonderful performance from the big man. But plenty more needed. You have a feeling that Pau-Lacq-Orthez are going to need more than just Justin Denton standing up and really carrying the team. You know, what are they going to ask him to score? 50 points? Potentially. But here at the halftime break in Jerusalem, the home team lead this 49-45 over Pau-Lacq-Orthez.
On Jai. Oh, and a putback jam.
In the corner. Steps back, makes a full over. Nothing but net. Well, that is surely got to be a top 5 player in the Champions League.
Damien English not able to score. They pass ahead. Oh, what a slam by Foster. Big time play. Corbin says, I see ya. Throw down off the alley-oop for Chris Dow. He is starting to really have a positive impact for this team.
And out in the race is Crawford with the two-handed jam at the other end. Hapoel with the big rejection.
Goodness gracious, what a great game he's having.
Tasks in their own time, just trying to. Oh! The Kissick exploded and threw it down.
Dangerous pass. Well, they give up the baseline, and Sidness goes in. He gets rejected by Pearl. Pearl defensively tonight has a couple of swats, and that one was right out of the top drawer.
in the lane, goes, oh, you gotta be kidding me. Retin over Sohan, winning the lane, and he dunks over the entire Manaba. Pavic on a poster. You gotta love it. Well, Retin over Sohan has put on a show this evening, ladies and gentlemen.
Roten left hand with a crushing dunk all over Hapoel Jerusalem right there. Just out of nothing, he took off and threw it down.
Welcome back to Jerusalem. Game day 12 of the Basketball Champions League. We're at the business end of the regular season now. And our two teams here are playing exactly that way. Jerusalem lead by 4 at the half-time against Pau-Lacq-Orthez, 49-45. It's been a wonderful game here, free-flowing, dramatic, to say the least. Jerusalem leaning on the likes of John Holland, he's got 13. Debutant Shelvin Mack, he's got 11, and Suleiman Brahima with 10. But the man of the hour at the moment has to be Pau-Lacq-Orthez's Justin Dentman. 20 points for him, just over 16 minutes of action as well for him. Wonderful performance. It's only a 4-point lead for Jerusalem. Remember, this is top versus bottom in this group. Jerusalem sit top of the tree. They win this evening. They progress through to the playoffs. For Pau-Lacq-Orthez, they're currently propping up the group. But the way the game's been played, you wouldn't be saying that. You'd say these are one of the top number 1 and number 2 in the group. Wonderful, wonderful night of European basketball here in Israel. Do Pau-Lacq-Orthez have enough? Do they have the game plan? Has Coach Villa got a plan in place to cause the big upset here this evening? I have a feeling at the moment that maybe not, but 4 points at the half is absolutely nothing in basketball, and even less in Basketball Champions League games. Moments away now from the start of the second half. Plenty of fans courtside. They're on their phones. I bet they're on the official Basketball Champions League app. Checking the box score, diving into the detail. Second half action underway here in Jerusalem. Home team lead by 4 over Pau-Lacq-Orthez. 3 goes up straight away by Shelvin Mack. It's no good. Pau-Lacq-Orthez come the other way with it. Shupaz now throws it away though, and it's stolen back. Coburn Brown. Building now. Comes back to Brahima. And Jerusalem slow things down. Mack inside, kicks it out to Brahima for 3. He's short though, and Connelly grabs the rebound for Pau-Lacq-Orthez, and the pace of the game picks up exactly where it left off in that first half. It was blistering, to say the least. Both teams getting up and down the floor quickly and happy to take early shot clock opportunities if they arose. Coburn Brown going to get called for the foul. Smart play by Pau-Lacq-Orthez. McGee now. Stolen away though. Brahima comes away with it. Manages to get his footwork right. Coburn Brown. Nice pass inside to Brahima. Oh, Brahima blows the present that Brown delivered him. Dentman. Ibekwe loses the handle. And he's struggled this evening, Ibekwe. Struggles to control the ball at times. Brown now, little jab step to create the space so he can get the 3 away. But he's off track with that one, and over 90 seconds into the second half, and neither team has scored yet, which is a bit crazy considering we had nearly 100 points in the first half. Another missed opportunity, this time Holland. The pace hasn't slowed down, just the efficiency has. Dentman gets inside and gets the first score of the second half. Mack almost loses his footing and throws it away. I don't think he's expecting for Dentman just to retreat away from him. I think he was playing on the fact that he was going to get some body contact. That never came, so he stumbled with possession instead. 10th turnover for Jerusalem. Breimer and Holland go to the bench. Denton now being hustled by Mack as he brings it up over the half. Rejected. Good hands by Thomas. Brown now skips it across the floor. Nice pass inside. Great ball movement by Jerusalem. Brown for three. What a wonderful way to finish. Some great fluid team offense. Unselfish play. Jerusalem up to a 5-point lead. Corneli for three. He's short and a shoe is missing. Oh, Denton, he's so quick, he's left his shoes behind. Have to go to the side and get that one laced up again. I think his coach is telling him, don't leave the floor. If you leave the floor, I'm going to have to sub you out. You stay in and at least I can keep you in the game while you do your shoe up. Gets his shoe done up and he's back into the action. Yeah, maybe looks like Max stood on his heel or something, eased him out of his footwear. Thomas now trying to feed the low post, but the offensive foul is going to be called. Kupchaz, and a little coming together between Ebekwe and Kupchaz. A kiss and make up, we're all good to go again. Kupchaz doesn't know what the call's for, and Ebekwe gives him a little conversation. The referee makes sure he's in the middle of it to split them up. Not sure they were going to come to blows, but always better to be safe than sorry with men of that size going head to head. McGee now. Ebekwe, he's over for three, but gives it up to Denton in the corner for three, and he rattles home the jumper. And yes, Denton should point to his teammate. Unselfish play by Ebekwe. Denton now up to 25 points. Where's he going to top out in this evening's game? He could be on for a 40-point game here. Oh, and what a drive to the basket by James Fielding. Just floats up high enough to get his shot away. That first step against McGee was enough. But you see his focus, his vision. You look now, as soon as he looks up, no matter what contact comes his way, his eye is locked in on the basket. Gets the score as we see Jacob and Brown go to the bench. Throws the bottle down in frustration. Not too sure if it's with being subbed out or with how things have gone on the floor. Fielding converts the and one play. Jerusalem's lead is at 5. 6:25 left in this third quarter as McGee goes to the bench. Diawara comes in for Pau-Lacq-Orthez. Shupaz now with the ball. Diawara feeds the low post. Ebekwe looking to back his way inside, goes to the corner to Diawara. Diawara drives in. Good patience by Pau-Lacq-Orthez. Ebekwe with the three is no good, and that's the problem they have at the moment. Denton really is their only offensive threat. To Sean Thomas now. A bit of a scramble for the rebound. Denton comes away with it. A little hop, step, and a gallop. Gets Denton to the basket. He draws the foul from Phil Dean. Third team foul of the quarter for Jerusalem. Look at this little gallop from Denton. Saying, there's no way I'm letting you do that on my floor. As Denton tries to showboat a little bit. Ebekwe goes back to the bench for Pau-Lacq-Orthez. And Mabodji comes back in. Shupaz now takes the dribble. Not sure what the foul is. Is it going to be called on Phil Dean? Quick back-to-back fouls if it is on James Phil Dean. Fourth team foul now. Just under 6 minutes to play, and you have a feeling Pau-Lacq-Orthez may get a few trips to the free throw line here in the third quarter. Always a nice way to close a gap from the free throw line. Oh, and it's stolen away. Thomas out of the races. Oh, puts the hammer on. That's an easy score, and Jerusalem's lead now at 7. Dentman, though, battles his way to the basket. Doesn't get the roll this time. And Jerusalem, again, in transition, hands it off to Holland, and there's the score. You have a feeling a timeout's coming. Yes, it is. As a Jerusalem lead extends to 9. Coach Villa left with no alternative but to call a timeout. He needs to stem the flow, because defense like that from Tashawn Thomas, and the finish has put his team now behind by 9. They can't afford to let it go much further. Let's listen to his timeout.
After basket, saute sur moi. Johan, tu mets une grosse pression sans faute pour protéger. Mais il faut suivre, garder du temps. Et après, on communique. Maybe a shot ici, maybe a shot one, depending. Nickel, ok. Vous ici, rappelez-vous, le ballon vient là, vous sortez. Vous venez, pas de baseline. Vous venez jusqu'ici. Allez.
Again, Coach Villa there just trying to tinker with things, but he must know that Jerusalem are an explosive team. They play on confidence, particularly at home with this amazing crowd behind them. And he can't afford to let them have too many highlight plays like this, because they are just going to grow and grow in confidence and potentially run away with this game in a hurry. Pau-Lacq-Orthez need to start reining them back in again. Dentman, Shupaz now into Mbodji. Mbodji going to the right-hand hook. Faded away a little far, but the rebound's knocked by Corneli. Offensive foul going to be called on Dentman, though, as he knocks Shelvin Mack to the floor. Let's have a look. There's the fake. Oh, no, in fact, it's Mbodji that's going to get called for the foul. Just the second team foul of the quarter for Pau-Lacq-Orthez, but look at these scenes in the arena. And this has been the case throughout the season here in Jerusalem. Wonderful, wonderful scenes. Young and old, men and women, boys and girls, just loving the basketball Champions League, enjoying every second of it. Mack to Breimer. Oh, nice pass inside. And that's an easy score for Tashawn Thomas. He's up to 8 points personal now, along with 4 rebounds as well. Dentman inside, gets the layup to go, but it's almost knocked away. But Mbodji, and this is the problem that Pau-Lacq-Orthez have when they lean so heavily on one player. Can he carry the team the whole way? It looks unlikely he's going to be able to this evening at the moment. Mack for 3, nails another 3, and Jerusalem are flying. 14-point lead now. Shelvin Mack on his debut up to 14 points. This is things that dreams are made of, playing in this kind of arena for these kind of home fans. Corneli, nothing there, comes away. And almost stolen away by Breimer, but can only knock it out of bounds. It's not going to lower the noise levels, though. There's the three from Mack. And he is certainly enjoying his first taste of Basketball Champions League action. Shupaz will go to the bench for Pau-Lacq-Orthez. Dentman inbounds it to Mbodji. He hands it back to Moore. Moore tries to get it away before the shot clock expires. He can't do, though. And another turnover just adds a little bit more noise, a little bit more momentum to the home team. Thomas moves the ball well to Phil Dean. Door closed nicely by Cavalier. Breimer is fouled by Moore. Breimer certainly has a good handle for a big man. Seems comfortable on the ball. Jerusalem lead by 14 as Blatt and Brown come back in for Mack and Phil Dean. And this is the problem you have if you're Pau-Lacq-Orthez. You look at this and you think, when is this pressure going to end? And Jerusalem just roll out superstar after superstar off the bench. The level doesn't drop. Blatt with the wayward pass. Thomas is saying he was pushed from behind. That's why he couldn't get to the ball. But the officials say, afraid not. It's going to be a Pau-Lacq-Orthez ball on the baseline. Second turnover for Blatt, yet to score as well. Not had the best of games, but I'm sure he won't mind if his team can come away with the win and secure their place in the playoffs. And that's going to be a travel on Mbodji. Caught in two minds. Should he go for the shot? Should he make the pass? Instead, he kind of tried to do a bit of everything. Shuffled those feet. Thomas now to Breimer. Through the legs of Holland. Trying to find some space, shoots the three and nails the three. And there was only really one thing in John Holland's mind. He wanted a score. He was shaping to find some space in the lane. It didn't happen, so he shot the three instead. He's up to 18 points now. And another turnover. And the smiles are wide on the Jerusalem players' faces. Remember, Pau-Lacq-Orthez won this game by 14 in the reverse, so if there's a head-to-head situation to think about, and your coach Kartash, you want to win by at least 15. They're up by 17 at the moment. I'm sure that's the benchmark. Jacob and Brown called for the foul. And Mack getting some coaching on the fly, as it were. McGee comes into the game for Diawara. Dentman scores from the free throw line. That's his 26th point off the game, shooting over 50% from the field. Make that 27 now. The trouble you have is there's no one else at the moment in the Pau-Lacq-Orthez roster who's carrying any of the offensive burden. It's all on Dentman. Blatt for three, way off target with that one. That was from a long, long way downtown. And Blatt's drought continues. Moore now trying to shake, takes the three. Off to the left with that three. And things again a little bit out of hand for Pau-Lacq-Orthez now. Brown for three. Not this time, but the rebound is batted back to Blatt. Passes inside. Zalmanson grabs his own rebound, does he? No, he's hustled off the ball, and Pau-Lacq-Orthez regained possession. More now to McGee, drives the baseline. Oh, nutmeg pass to Ibekwe, and he hits the three. Tell me that's not going to go onto the highlight reel. Wonderful pass through the legs. Breimer now. Fouled before the shot. A sideline ball, just the fourth team foul for Pau-Lacq-Orthez. So they're in the penalty now. Look at this pass. Through the legs of Breimer. And Ibekwe nails the three. That's a wonderful play by McGee. Audacious, to say the least. Round for three. Oh, he drains the three and quickly cancels out the triple from Pau-Lacq-Orthez. Back out to a 15-point lead. Remember, that's the key number to win the head-to-head. That's what Jerusalem need to win. That's going to be an offensive foul. Cavalier just rolled into the screen. It's just knocked the wind out of Jacoven Brown. He's back on his feet. Just a bit winded though. Let's watch this one again, and yeah, hands the ball off and then runs straight into the midriff of Jacoven Brown. Just takes you a minute or two to catch your breath in that situation. Holland goes to the bench. 40 seconds left in this third quarter. Jerusalem up by 15 points now. Breimer passes it inside. Easy score for Zalmanson. And Jerusalem are real poetry offensively when they get things going like they have here this evening. Fluid basketball, unselfish basketball, and it's a real joy to watch. Three goes up and is good. Ibekwe drains the three to finish the third quarter. Maybe that's a glimmer of light, a ray of hope. But at the end of three, Jerusalem 72, Pau-Lacq-Orthez 58. Here are your shooting stats. As you can see, Pau-Lacq-Orthez still leaning on the three, 43%. Jerusalem clinical from inside, 19 from 29. Also clinical from the free throw line, 10 from 11. Too much being expected on Denton for Pau-Lacq-Orthez. Yes, he's a phenomenal player. Yes, he can score in truckloads. But they're going to need more than just him if they're going to win games consistently in the Basketball Champions League. You look at Jerusalem, and their scoring has been spread beautifully amongst their team. So many players stepping up, threats in the transition like this score from Thomas. Threats in the half court, down low in the paint, back to the basket. Threats from the perimeter as well. They've got three players in double digits. Mack on his debut with 14 points. Breimer with 10, and John Holland with 18. I imagine they're going to end up with 4 or 5 players in double digits before the end of the game. And that's how they win games. Team offense, team defense. And that's what's put them top of this group and just one win away from the playoffs. Ten more minutes for them to see out. If they can hold on to this lead and take the win here this evening, they will have secured a top 4 spot in the group, and a top 4 spot means Basketball Champions League playoffs. And look at the party atmosphere in the stands. So many young faces being inspired by these wonderful athletes on the floor. They have not stopped singing for the entire game. And the singing is going to go on for many hours more, you imagine. Holland leading Jerusalem, scoring 18 points, 70% from the field, 4 rebounds. He really has been clinical here this evening. Ten minutes to go here in Israel. Jerusalem lead by 14 over Pau-Lacq-Orthez. Does the French side have anything left in the gas tank to come back into this one? McGee to the basket strong, and that's a great way to start the final quarter. Brown now zips the pass to Blatt in the corner, and he hits the 3. Just a 2, I think, foot on the line, but he's fouled as well, so he'll get a chance at a 3-point play. A little bit of redemption potentially for Blatt, and what a pass again by Jacoven. Brown just zips it to the corner. Blatt nails the long 2. He'll go to the line for the bonus as well. He's had a bit of a night to forget so far. Maybe he can make amends here in the final quarter. Tamir Blatt. Jerusalem are not taking their foot off the gas. They're applying pressure all the way. McGee. Little shake, little bake, puts the 3 up. Off track, but Pau-Lacq-Orthez get it back. Moore jacks the 3 up early, and once again, Shupaz works hard to help get the rebound, and this time, 3rd time lucky for Pau-Lacq-Orthez. Ebekwe gets the score, but he's being told off for touching the ball after it's gone through the basket. There's the final warning. He does it again. It'll be a technical foul. There's the pass inside. 13-point lead, just under 9 minutes to play now. Surely this is too much of a mountain for Pau-Lacq-Orthez to come back in from. Pass to Thomas, and yet another dunk from the big man. And it's all too easy at the moment. Jerusalem getting down the lane without any trouble whatsoever. No one contesting, no one blocking the lane away. Giving up easy scores left, right, and center, and that is always going to lead one way. And no surprise, really, that Coach Villa has called a timeout. Let's jump into the Pau-Lacq-Orthez huddle.
First pick and roll, wide, okay, wide. Léo, toi ici tu viens faire l'écran, okay. First, we saw if Ron can attack and beat after the back screen the big here. If he stays, okay, you stay here. You attack to pass the ball to Darius for the shot, okay. If not, okay, you go to hand off with Johan. You go here, hand off with Darius after, okay. And you come back with middle screen. Hand off, this one, okay. And now, guys, full court defense, okay, 1-on-1, okay. On the pick and roll, we double, right? Aggressive, we double.
Clear call from Coach Villa there, saying the intensity needs to pick up. They need to double on the pick and roll. Just generally, they need to increase the pressure that they're applying. And you can see from these replays, it's not difficult to understand how Jerusalem have got out to a lead. As much as you have to give a hat tip Jerusalem for how they've played the game, you also have to wonder how much Pau-Lacq-Orthez have been a victim of their own lackadaisical defense. And jump ball is going to be called as Jacoven Brown wraps it up. Just wait to see which direction a possession indicator is in. 8-second violation, in fact, is going to be called. As you can see, the shot clock on 14. He's saying he was over the half. He'd made his way over. Coach Villa is not happy with the call from the officials. The officials are instructing him he needs to come back to his bench, to his coaching area. The players are arguing the case as well to say he was over the half. But it will be Jerusalem ball. And Coach Villa is still not happy with the decision. He wants to have the conversation. You imagine some of this is frustrations at the way his team have played as well, bubbling over. He needs to be careful because the last thing they need is a technical foul against the coach. Blatt now floats it. Oh, the alley-oop jam. And to Sean Thomas has been dunking all over Pau-Lacq-Orthez here in this second half. It has been an absolute dunk fest for the big man. And here's a wonderfully paced pass by Blatt. Little shake, little hesitation, and floats the pass. Look how quick that release on the pass is. And when you're a player like Thomas, that is nectar. You absolutely love your point guard to be throwing you passes like that, because that is money in the bank. That is points on the box score. 17-point lead now for Jerusalem. Jacoban Brown heads to the bench. Wonder if that's the last we'll see of him this evening. Shupaz now almost has it stolen away, and Jerusalem may be leading by 17, but they are hustling hard. Dentman, oh, he's rejected by Thomas. Just dismissed in the corner. Mack, Holland, no joy, gets the rebound though. They'll recycle, I imagine. Back to Blatt. Blatt will bring it back to the top. 8 seconds on the shot clock to work with. Thomas sets the screen to the corner. Mack for three. Oh, and it's raining here in Israel as Jerusalem just opened the floodgates on Pau-Lacq-Orthez. They're up by 20 now. Mack up to 17 points on his debut. Offensive foul on McGee. And look at the players on the bench. They're loving the effort from their teammates. And this is the DNA of this team, how they play the game. Jerusalem just play it a pure team ethos. And live and die for one another on the hardwood. Holland taking the charge. Here's a replay of the triple from the corner from Mack. And it's just every which way at the moment. Jerusalem dominating proceedings here. And the fans are certainly enjoying the game. They have made so much noise for their team. And loving the Basketball Champions League here in Jerusalem this season. And with a win here this evening, if they can lock it out, they're going to get some more because they're going to make the playoffs. Mack for three, no good. Bildan now grabs the rebound, hands it back to Blatt. Mack jumps his way to the basket, can't connect, but will earn himself a trip to the free throw line. And you have a feeling, you look in the eyes of Mack as we see McGee foul out of the game there. You look in the eyes of Mack when he's playing, and you have a feeling he's a player that kind of thinks, I think I've made the right decision coming here. I think I've made the right move. This is one hell of a club, and they're going places. And he's going to be a big part of it based on this debut. As we see Holland go to the bench as well for Jerusalem. Into the action returns Nimrod Levy. Out goes Cavalier for Pau-Lacq-Orthez. Mack hits the first of his two. Takes him up to 19 points now. Make that 20. That is a great debut for Shelvin Mack. Still 7 minutes to play. Dentman now Hands it back to Moore. Gets it back. Doesn't take the three. Looks to feed the corner, but can't. And great play in the end by Phil Dean. Mack, baseline. It's the pass to the corner. Levy drives inside. Can't get the two to go, but does draw the foul. And big smiles, rightfully so, on the faces of the Jerusalem players and fans alike. Look at the players on the bench. Breimer, Jakoven, Brown, they're enjoying themselves. They're loving Basketball Champions League here midweek in Jerusalem. Some big nights they've had here. And what an atmosphere. I have nothing to do with it, but imagine a Final Four in a facility like this with a crowd like this. Wow, the roof would be lifted. For the neutral, they're the kind of teams you want to see in a Final Four. Ones that bring the fans, bring the noise. Denton feeds the low post, comes back out. Corneli drains the big shot. Deval Bracky's in the action as well for Pau-Lacq-Orthez. Second score for Corneli. Blatt for three. His shooting night continues to struggle. 6 minutes to play now. 20-point lead for Jerusalem. Dempman. Deval Bracky hands it off to Moore. Corneli now trying to find a lane, but the defense from Jerusalem is strong. The pass is whipped across. Wait to see what's called there. Is it an out of bounds? I think it might be. A foot out of bounds. Another turnover for Pau-Lacq-Orthez. And Thomas will head to the bench. Probably the last we'll see of him this evening, unless things start going wrong for Jerusalem. The fans show their appreciation, and he shows their appreciation for them. Blatt heads to the bench as well. Mack trying to find space inside. It's turned to a bit of a scramble. It's going to end up a Pau-Lacq-Orthez ball. Timor is into the game for Jerusalem as well. He'll defend more as he brings it up over the half. Dempman to the basket. Hoopshaz says no, I'm afraid not. I think you've taken on the wrong big man. Dempman's frustrated. Understandably so. He's done everything he can for his team, but they're just lacking probably two more impact players offensively to make the difference. Tough to rely just on one player. Timor now puts the three up. Rebound pulled down though by Deval Braque for Pau-Lacq-Orthez. Moore now inside, hands it away to Corneli, but he's fouled before he passes it away. So that will be sideline ball for Pau-Lacq-Orthez. It's only the second team foul of the quarter for Jerusalem. Corneli now hands it over to Dentman. Dentman trying his hardest to do what he can. He can only throw it out of bounds though. And there's a point in the game, I think, that he's just struggling. He's tired, he's frustrated, and you can understand that. He's done everything he can for his team. Pau-Lacq-Orthez will call a timeout. Is there anything Coach Villa can do? Dempman makes his way back to the huddle, begrudgingly so. Let's jump into this Pau-Lacq-Orthez huddle though, hear what the coaching staff have to say.
After baskets, after free throw, 31. If we miss, turn over the ball, we come back. Man, okay. On man, red defense, okay, but we double. If we double here, this guy here have to come here. This guy here, and this guy up like this. Let the low pass, okay? If they dive like this, for sure, we have to bump high, okay? But we want to double to steal the ball, okay? So, Thibaut, avec Peter, vous êtes ici. Quand le ballon vient là, c'est important de donner le milieu, parce que vous avez l'autre intérieur qui est ici, ok? C'est toi qui défends en gros, ok?
Let's go, let's go.
Communicate.
1, 2, 3.
Communicate.
Coach Villa there. Real last chance saloon as we watch replays of how much the crowd and the players alike have enjoyed this one here in Jerusalem this evening. But for Coach Villa, he's saying let's double, let's jump across, let's jump on the dribble. But everyone has to help if we do. If we do double, we need to help. Or block the lane at least so they don't get the easy score. This is the last throw of the dice for Coach Villa and Pau-Lacq-Orthez. Into the corner. Jumper no good, but an easy offensive rebound. Doesn't get any easier for Upsas there. You saw the body language from Dentman. Dejected, frustrated. Just a little bit forlorn with the whole thing in the huddle. And the trouble you've got is that translates across to other players and the team take their lead from him. He's not in the game anymore, not feeling it. How are the team going to react? Oh, and that's an easy three for a player the standard of Shelvin Mack. You cannot leave him open. And what a first game he's had in the red and white of Hapoel Jerusalem. 22 points for Shelvin Mack. Just phenomenal performance. And you can see why Coach Kartash is leaving him in the game. Get as much time on the floor, get some confidence, particularly in this arena. They're going to need him if they're going to make it to the latter stages of the Basketball Champions League. Who knows, may even make a run at the Final Four or come away with the big prize, the crown. The top step of the podium at the end of the season. What a prize that would be for Jerusalem. And what a noise this crowd would make if they did. Moore with a crossover, pulls up for the jumper. Off right though. Jerusalem, well, slowly advancing over the half. They don't have to be in a hurry for anything now. They're up by 25. There's the passing again. Leaving now, moving the ball well. Phil Dean steps to the left, puts the jumper up. He's short. Rebound falls into the hands of Moore. He's going to go all the way. He hands it back. Corneli is fouled on his way to the basket. Peter Corneli will head to the line for 2 free throws. 3 minutes and 2 seconds still to play. Hard to see Pau-Lacq-Orthez getting back into this one, down by 25. It's been a surgical execution in the second half from Jerusalem. Remember, they were only up by 4 points at the halftime break. So within 17 minutes, they've extended that lead by 21 points. Wonderful performance. What looked like it was going to game that could potentially go down to the wire has been blown up as we see Phil Dean head to the bench for Jerusalem, show his appreciation for the raucous crowd in the arena here this evening. Corneli back at the line for his second, missed the first of his 2 attempts. Hits the second though. Substitution as Corneli will come out of the game. Black going to be called for a backcourt violation. Lost possession and then bounced it again. Black not had a great evening. Out of all the Jerusalem players, he's probably the one that you'd highlight as maybe slightly underperformed from where you'd expect him to be. But that is a situation you're in, Jerusalem. You have a team ethos, a team mindset, and you pick up the slack for each other. Dentman now, shot clock down to 2. Steps to the right, jacks the 3. Can only get an air ball away. And Dentman's scoring has dried up in the last 10 or so minutes. He's at 27 points though. Tough to be frustrated at a player when he's put in such a big performance like that. Scored over 40% of Pau-Lacq-Orthez's points, and that's your problem. You have no real other go-to players, and in the Basketball Champions League, you probably need at least another 2, maybe 3. The follow is good from Nimrod Levy. Timed his jump to perfection on the offensive rebound, gets the tap, gets the 2. Timor working hard, trying to stake a claim maybe to a few more minutes in some more competitive games rather than picking up the garbage minutes at the back end of a blowout. Dentman hands it off to Moore. Moore's got the first step, but goes to the corner to Pau-Lacq-Orthez. And the tip-in is good. That one for Mboji. And it really is a matter of seeing out the game clock now. Into the hands of Levy in the corner's no good. A little bit heavy with that one. Oh. And we see Iwara try and float to the basket, but he's fouled. And himself a trip to the line for 2 shots. And remember, this is top 3 bottom. Jerusalem entered the game with an 8-win, 3-loss record. Pau-Lacq-Orthez, 4-win, 7-loss record. This win will secure Jerusalem a playoff place, where will be decided in their final 3 games of the regular season. They'll be at home to Burgos next Wednesday, before traveling to Antwerp the following Wednesday to finish things off. Brown now to the corner to Levy, steps out of bounds. Pau-Lacq-Orthez. This really is likely to be the end of the road. Their chances of making the playoffs likely to disappear after this evening's game. With 2 games left to play. Nice pass inside, and Mboji makes the most of it. But they'll still see out their final 2 remaining games, and they'll be determined not to go out on a whimper as they welcome Antwerp to their arena, Palais de Sport de Pau, next Tuesday, before hitting the road for their final game of the season, the Basketball Champions League season, in Bandurma the following Wednesday. Timor with the score there. Hits the big 3, another steal, and another score, is it? No, it's not. Timor misses the easy score in the end. But we're into the final few seconds. A 26-point lead for Jerusalem over Pau-Lacq-Orthez. Foul's going to be called, though. Pau-Lacq working hard to establish, and he's fouled as he's pushed in the back. But you can see the fans, they've enjoyed themselves this evening. Understandably so. They've seen an absolute vintage display from their team. And they've also seen a new player don their jersey in the Basketball Champions League in the shape of Shelvin Mack. And he has had a standout debut in the Basketball Champions League, joining them from Milano. What a game he's had, likely to finish top scorer with 22 points. Great way to start his career in the red and white. About a 6-second differential between the shot clock and the game clock. Brown now, little hesitation to the corner to Blatt. Good ball movement, Levy for 3, drains another triple. And they continue to pile on the points. Less than 10 seconds to play, but what a game we've had here. Game day 12 of the Basketball Champions League. And it's been an absolute stonker of a game as Pau-Lacq-Orthez hit a 3 right at the death. But that's not going to change the party here in the arena. What a game we've had. A wonderful display of European basketball as Hapoel Jerusalem take this one 98-76 over Pau-Lacq-Orthez. No real surprise. There's big smiles on the face of the Jerusalem players. What was a very, very close game in the first half turned out to be a blowout in the second half. Just some of the stats here, outscoring Pau-Lacq-Orthez by 18 points in that second half. That's enough to get them the win. That's enough for them to claim the head-to-head. And most importantly here in Jerusalem, that's enough for them to know that they are going to be part of the Basketball Champions League playoffs this season. And if they play like that in the playoffs, my goodness me, how far could they go? I'll say it quietly, I don't want to jinx them, but maybe it could end at the top step of the podium at the Final Four weekend. Who knows? What a signing they've got there in Shelvin Mack as well. His first game. Here are your shooting percentages. As you can see, Jerusalem pretty clinical throughout. Pau-Lacq-Orthez really relying on their three-point shooting. And there's another wonderful stat. 28 assists for their 98 points. Wonderful team display of basketball from Jerusalem. Very unselfish team. They have their... Here are your top scorers. The debutant Mack leading things for Jerusalem with 22. Holland had 18, Thomas 12. Leading all scorers for Pau-Lacq-Orthez. Denton with 27, and Bodji with 14, and Ebekwe with 8. But what a game. Wonderful advert for European basketball. Wonderful advert for the Basketball Champions League we've had here this evening. As I said, what a close first half we had. The first quarter, they were completely level at 20 apiece. Jerusalem up things offensively and managed to sneak a 4-point lead at half-time. But that third quarter, my goodness me, their defensive intensity went through the roof. Denton's scoring ability collapsed, and with it, Pau-Lacq-Orthez's ability to keep the scoreboard ticking over collapsed as well. They led by 14 at the end of the third quarter, and they continued to apply the pressure in the fourth, adding another 8 points to their lead. They run out 98-76 winners in this one. Another wonderful offensive display by Jerusalem. A real big team performance as well. They can be very, very proud of the way they play basketball, not just the results they get. As I said, Shelvin Mack, his debut in the Basketball Champions League, he's come away with 22 points, shooting 70% from the field, 4 from 6 from perimeter, 4 from 4 from the free throw line. Nabbed himself 2 assists, 2 rebounds, couple of steals as well. He'll be very, very pleased with his first game, as were the fans here in the stands. Also in double digits for Jerusalem. John Holland, 18 points, 5 rebounds, 3 assists for him. Deshaun Thomas with 12 points, 6 rebounds. And Suleiman Breimer, he had 10 points and 5 assists as well. For our visitors, as I said, they lent heavily once again on Justin Denton. 27 points chalked up to his name. He really was scoring some unorthodox baskets here this evening, but that's what he does best. He creates a spark when his team are struggling. Unfortunately, outside of Sheikh and Bodji, there was no one else jumping out to score the points. He's the only other player in double digits for Pau-Lacq-Orthez. He had 14 points as well as 5 rebounds. And it's back to the drawing board for them after this evening's game. There's a lot still ahead of them, but the Basketball Champions League is likely to end at the end of the regular season for them, but it isn't for Jerusalem, who have now booked their place in the postseason, in the playoffs. And what a game ahead of them. They have 2 more games to play, both these teams. Here are our standings at the end of game day 12. Jerusalem still sitting pretty way clear at the top of the table, whereas Pau-Lacq-Orthez rooted to the bottom of the table. What a game we've had here in Jerusalem at the end of 4 quarters. Jerusalem 98, Pau-Lacq-Orthez 76.